Welcome to Examining Vocabulary in the Classroom. This video is by me, Mr. Randall Patton, and in this video we're going to look at a couple things. First off, we'll take a look at the Frayer model and how it's used. Next, we'll look at word mapping within my classroom with a video of me teaching. And finally, I'll talk through some tips and tricks for success. Okay, so getting started with the Frayer model. The Frayer model has been around for a good while. The Frayer model is used to keep track of vocabulary. It's better than just having kids regurgitate onto a lined sheet of paper. On here, it makes them think a little more, maybe even go out and do a little more searching about the word meaning. So if you notice in the box, you put the word. You have the definition, which they usually put in their own words. You have facts and characteristics about it. I usually have mine pull it from the definition. And then at the bottom, examples or non-examples, or synonyms and antonyms. The Frayer model is very effective. I think sometimes it can be a little too heavy for some students, so I myself have modified it. And if you see the next example, this is my first modification, which I still have related words and examples, but like the link strategy, I've added an illustration for your understanding, which is quite different. To modify it even simpler, and I think my students have done the best with this, I've been using it for a couple years now. This Frayer model, modified by me, also allows for the word and concept, characteristics and facts in the definition, and I've given them a larger box for illustration instead of making them do 4 boxes. The students really have taken this and ran with it, and it turns out to be very well. Now, just like the links, of course, you're not going to always have an illustration, and I don't always give them the definition for the word, especially when looking at word mapping. Now, I'm going to give you an example of how I use word mapping in my classroom. We complete it by doing the Frayer model. Without further ado, here is my 4th period working on monotheism and polytheism. Alright guys, we're going to look at 2 vocabulary words today to kind of dissect. Before we fill in our charts though, let's look at the words itself. So we have monotheism and polytheism. Okay, let's break down these words. So I'm going to ask you, does anyone see another word within this word? Raise your hands, guys. Thesis is a good guess. What else? What'd you say? You guys, if someone said it, but you blurted it out, you haven't raised your hand. Somebody? Mono? Yes, mono. Does anyone know what mono might mean? Raise our hands again. What does mono mean? I heard the right answer, but he didn't raise his hand. Samaya?
Mono means one.
One. Okay. Does anyone else see any words or part of another word? Zariah? The. Actually, that is part of another word. I'll go ahead and give you this one. This is part of the word theos, which means something. Anybody want to take a guess what theos might mean?
3.
Good guess, but not quite. What else? You see is? So this is actually part of a suffix ism. So let's talk about the suffix ism real quick. What words end with the suffix ism? What words do we know that ends with that word? What word do you know ends with ism? Right? Prism, good. What else, Chloe? Racism, yes, that's a common topic. Alright, what else, Samaya?
Patriotism.
Patriotism. Alright, so we have a few different isms. Prism, racism, patriotism. Let's focus on patriotism and racism. So, we know that racism has to do with race, right? So if we know that racism has to do, or racism has to do with race, what do we think ism might have to mean? Might mean. This is a tough one. I don't expect us to get it off the top. What do you think it might mean, Dominique?
Good guess. Not quite. So we're only focusing on one here. Chloe?
I think like people with mental could be only one race.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Is racism a belief?
Yes. Oh no.
No.
Is racism maybe a system that might hinder people from doing better?
Yeah.
Yes.
Could it be a belief as well?
Yes.
Okay. What else might it be?
Oh.
Opinion.
An opinion? Good. So this ism, I'm going to go ahead and give it to you, but you're doing well. You're on the right track. Ism means a system or belief.
Oh. Well, we were close.
You were actually on the right track. Really doing a good job with it. A system or belief. So, what does that tell us our theos means now? One, or
One
belief.
belief.
One belief in what?
One God.
Something great.
Yeah, one God. Right? Yeah.
This is the Greek word for God. Theos, I didn't expect you to know that, but these two, if we knew these two words, the first and the last, or these two parts, could you maybe figure out this whole word without knowing the definition? Alright, so what is our definition now of monotheism? Somebody else,
Wow.
you help me a lot, I'm just trying to get some other helpers. Amani, yeah.
I believe for system in one God.
Yes, can we just say a belief in one God?
Yes.
Good. Alright, now that I'm going to skip the characteristics and facts and the illustration. We can come back to that as a class. But let's look at polytheism. Who sees words that we've already, I kind of tricked you and underlined it. Alex, what do you see?
Poly.
Poly, what do you think that means, Alex?
Multiple.
Yes.
Yay.
So, based off of our parts of speech, somebody make a definition for this one. Just raise your hands. Soraya, help me out.
A belief in multiple gods.
A belief. Good. Alright. And then we could keep going, but can you guys agree and see that if we knew these parts of the words that we could know many words?
Yes.
Right? You can build words with these parts of speech. Okay? Thank you. Alright.
Last, we have some tips and tricks for success. So number one, use definitions that are student-friendly. Don't get definitions that go above and beyond your student's reading level, and don't include words that they might not know on top of the word you're defining that they don't know. It's important to bring it down to their level and not to go too far above their level. Number two, you want to choose vocabulary words wisely. Science and social studies teachers sometimes get this, run into this issue, is that we like to pick words that are content specific, such as historical people, and those aren't easily defined, and those aren't easily put into many of these vocabulary strategies, and truly it's not a word we should focus on for vocabulary, but I myself am guilty of this as well. Number three, no strategy will work perfect every time. All of my picture boxes don't get filled in every time. Sometimes the kids struggle with characteristics and facts. Not every word is word mappable. You can't break them all down. And lastly, links doesn't work for every vocab word, but it's important to show students and use these strategies when they do work. Number four, vocabulary is essential for successful reading. Building students' vocabulary is above and beyond helpful to what they need to learn to read and be stronger readers. And lastly, vocabulary is vital in all classrooms. I know math people cringe sometimes with vocabulary and literacy. It can be used and focused on in every classroom across the building. Thank you all for viewing. I hope you found this informative. Have a great day.